This is the luxury world. Get inspired with us today and tomorrow. In the ever-evolving realm of global luxury, few brands have achieved the iconic status that Rolex enjoys. It represents more than just a timekeeping instrument. It is a symbol of prestige, heritage, and craftsmanship. Yet, in recent years, a persistent question has emerged across online forums, social media discussions, and whispered speculation among collectors. Is Rolex made in China? Join us as we delve into this intriguing topic brought to you by the luxury world. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to do so to stay informed on future updates. At first glance, the notion may seem preposterous. After all, Rolex is a cornerstone of Swiss horological tradition. However, in a global economy marked by complex supply chains, rising counterfeit markets, and growing interdependence between Western brands and Asian manufacturing powerhouses, the question gains traction, particularly among newer buyers who lack historical context. To understand why this rumor persists and why it remains false, it is necessary to examine not just Rolex's supply chain, but also the broader landscape of luxury production, counterfeit proliferation, and brand psychology. China today is the beating heart of global manufacturing. It is responsible for an extraordinary percentage of consumer goods, including electronics, textiles, automotive components, and watches. According to data from the Federation of the Swiss Watch Industry, China leads the world in watch production by volume. While the Swiss dominate the luxury segment by value, China's sheer scale and influence are indisputable. For many consumers unfamiliar with the inner workings of the watch industry, it is reasonable to assume that even prestigious brands like Rolex may outsource or produce components in China, whether openly or discreetly. Adding further complexity is the explosion of counterfeit luxury watches, particularly high-fidelity Rolex replicas. Gone are the days when fake watches were easy to spot by their clumsy proportions and flawed logos. Today's so-called super clones, often originating in Chinese manufacturing zones, can replicate everything from the smooth glide of the seconds hand to the etched coronet at the 6 o'clock marker on a sapphire crystal. These fakes can be so convincing that even experienced collectors are occasionally fooled without magnification or movement analysis. The growing accessibility of these counterfeits through online channels, gray market dealers, and unregulated resale platforms has fueled skepticism. If a near-identical replica can be purchased for a fraction of the price and is sourced from China, it is not a far leap, however misguided, for consumers to wonder whether genuine Rolex watches might be produced in similar facilities, if not identical ones. But equating counterfeit output with genuine Rolex production reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of how Rolex operates and how tightly it controls every aspect of its supply chain. Rolex's commitment to vertical integration is one of the most defining traits of the brand. It is a level of control that few other luxury watchmakers have achieved. The company is based in Switzerland and conducts all of its core manufacturing within Swiss borders. This includes the production of movements, cases, dials, bracelets, and even proprietary gold alloys. Rolex operates 4 major facilities across Switzerland, each with a distinct role in the production process. Unlike other brands that might rely on third-party suppliers for components or outsourcing for assembly, Rolex has deliberately built an ecosystem in which virtually everything of significance is produced in-house. This is not only a matter of efficiency and quality control, but also of brand philosophy. Rolex has cultivated its reputation on the notion of enduring excellence and predictability, and outsourcing core components to foreign markets, especially outside of Switzerland, would jeopardize both the substance and the symbolism of that reputation. Under Swiss law, the Swiss Made designation is tightly regulated. To qualify, a watch must have a Swiss movement that is encased and inspected in Switzerland. Additionally, at least 60% of its manufacturing costs must be Swiss-based. Rolex far surpasses these requirements. It is estimated that over 90% of the brand's production cost is Swiss incurred, making its watches some of the most genuinely Swiss-made timepieces on the market. The brand's commitment to this standard is not performative, it is foundational. Still, a few minor components may originate from international suppliers. These typically include generic items such as rubber seals, synthetic jewels, or sapphire crystal elements that are commoditized and sourced across industries. Importantly, these components are subject to Rolex's strict quality protocols and do not influence the mechanical identity or luxury status of the watch. The sourcing of such auxiliary materials does not undermine the brand's Swiss integrity any more than a German tire would compromise the identity of an Italian supercar. Compounding the confusion is the prevalence of fakes. China, in particular, has become the epicenter of the counterfeit luxury market. With advanced machinery, skilled labor, and access to global distribution networks, Chinese counterfeiters have succeeded in producing high-quality replicas that, at a glance, rival the originals. Some of these replicas even mimic Rolex's proprietary movements and engravings, fooling both buyers and sellers. But it is crucial to understand that the existence of these fakes does not imply Rolex in their production. Rather, it underscores the brand's desirability and the premium that its authenticity commands. The risk of being deceived by a super clone is now significant enough to influence public perception. Stories about buyers paying thousands of dollars for what they believe to be authentic watches, only to discover, often too late, that they were wearing expertly crafted imitations. In some instances, experienced watchmakers have struggled to identify these fakes without opening the case back or conducting advanced metallurgical testing. This pervasive threat breeds mistrust, particularly among first-time buyers who lack access to authorized dealers or trusted pre-owned networks. Another layer to the rumor stems from Rolex's secretive nature. Unlike some other Swiss watchmakers who offer behind-the-scenes videos, factory tours, or detailed manufacturing disclosures, Rolex remains famously tight-lipped about its operations. Its production facilities are closed to the public, and it rarely reveals details about its supply chain. Nevertheless, the brand's reputation speaks for itself. Rolex has consistently ranked among the most respected and trusted luxury companies in the world. Its resale value is among the highest in the industry, and its demand, despite macroeconomic headwinds, remains resilient. These achievements are not the result of cost-cutting or offshore manufacturing, but of meticulous engineering, rigorous testing, and uncompromising standards. The suggestion that Rolex would dilute this legacy by shifting production to China is not only inaccurate but incompatible with the brand's entire operational philosophy. That said, the perception of Chinese manufacturing has evolved. No longer synonymous with poor quality, China is now home to several high-end domestic watch brands that produce mechanically complex and aesthetically refined timepieces. Seagull, for example, manufactures millions of mechanical movements each year and has a history dating back to the 1950s. While these watches occupy a different segment of the market, they demonstrate that made in China can increasingly be associated with competence rather than inferiority. However, Rolex does not operate within that framework. Its value proposition lies in a blend of mechanical precision, heritage, and brand symbolism. Even if Chinese manufacturers could replicate the technical specifications of a Rolex, they cannot reproduce the cultural capital or symbolic cachet that the brand represents. Rolex is not merely a product, it is a statement, and that statement is inextricably tied to Swiss craftsmanship. For investors, collectors, and enthusiasts alike, this distinction is critical. The market for luxury watches is driven as much by perception as it is by engineering. A timepiece's origin is not just a point of manufacture, it is a pillar of identity. For Rolex, being Swiss made is not a marketing tagline, it is a strategic imperative. As long as the brand continues to uphold its current practices, Rolex will remain a product of Switzerland in every meaningful sense of the term. In conclusion, the notion that Rolex watches are made in China is unfounded. It reflects a misunderstanding of global supply chains, confusion stemming from counterfeit proliferation, and misplaced skepticism fueled by digital misinformation. While Rolex may source certain non-critical components internationally, its core production, engineering, and assembly remains strictly Swiss. The rumor persists not because of fact, but because of the brand's prominence and the anxieties associated with imitation in the luxury space. What are your impressions on the Rolex topic we shared in this video? Let us know by leaving a comment and giving this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to The Luxury World for more insights into the world of luxury timepieces.